Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. DanielPSpillsTheTea back with a new episode of my series Daniel P Spills the Tea Special Isolation Edition. This is the first video I have filmed since the COVID-19 pandemic. I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone is safe, looking after themselves, checking in on their loved ones, looking after their mental health, etc. That's most likely all I'm going to say to touch on the topic, because I'd like to feel that my channel and my videos is a great place to escape the awful reality that we all are currently experiencing. As a reminder, or if you're new to my channel, in this series I will be addressing and exposing the issues within my industry from my own personal experience and honest opinion. I am here to share my journey with you as a fashion stylist with over 7 years experience. No fakeness, no bullshit, but with good intention. So if this is something you may be interested in, subscribe now. As well as these videos on my channel, you will also find behind the scenes videos, fashion edits, roaster reviews, and a few vlogs as well. And to see more of my work, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Now, for today's video, swaying from the formula just a tad, as I want to ensure that the tone of today's video
is a little bit lighter,
considering everything that's going on in the world at the moment. So today I will be filming a retrospective. So basically I will be going through my Instagram page as a source of reference to touch on key moments within my career. They may be shoots, they may be personal styling jobs I had, commercial jobs I had, share some insight on them, a few anecdotes that may come to mind, and yeah, maybe I'll be spilling a little bit of tea as well, if necessary. Make sure you stick around till the very end. I'll be working my way backwards all the way up to the present time, and please make sure at any time, like the video as you're watching at the end, right now if you like, I don't mind. And also leave a comment. I will be checking them and happy to discuss anything further there. Just quickly, because it's been a few weeks since I've done my last video, I just want to throw up a quick disclaimer and address a few things. Although I had some amazing feedback and a great response to my last video, if you haven't watched it, you can check it out after this one. I had a lot of people, even people that know me very, very well, sending me messages of concern, but I reassured them all, and I will do so right now to you guys, that I am fine. I am not sad, I'm not depressed, and I'm definitely not having a whinge. I don't want you to misinterpret what I'm saying as me having a dig just for no apparent reason. There's reason behind everything I'm saying. You just have to listen carefully and make sure you're watching the videos in full so you can hear my full intention. This is really me being vulnerable so I can connect and share with people, and I think that's really, really important. And of course, my intention is also to be relatable and familiar. I did receive some messages from people that were just like, you literally read my mind. That meant so much to me. And in order to ensure that people are hearing me, I encourage, once again, like I always do, to please share these videos. And another thing, I'm gonna say this one last time because it has come up again. I am not a photographer. I am a stylist. My name is Daniel P Stylist. It is not Daniel P Photographer. It is something that I do not intend to do professionally moving forward, nor have I ever. Any opportunity to photograph has only either been for my own folio so I can capture my own work, or because it has been asked by a client because they wanted my aesthetic. Simple as that. I'd like to think that as a creative, I am allowed to use various forms of media and still being acknowledged for my styling first and foremost. I shouldn't have to apologize, and I guess I'm not, but I am acknowledging it. And just quickly as well, as we are in isolation in Melbourne, I had so many guests planned to join me here to talk about their stance in the industry and for them to share their insight from their perspective, whether they be a model, a photographer, another stylist, a makeup artist even. But unfortunately, I can't. And I have reached out to some people to even maybe FaceTime. It's not something that I wanted to do. I find it a little bit impersonal. But yeah, you'll be just seeing a lot of me on my own, unfortunately. Sorry guys. And I think isolation is a great time to reflect, to regain perspective, hence why I'm doing this today. And I also think it's a really good way to just remind yourself of what you do as a creative, and to be aware that once this is all over and this is surpassed, that we will be able to resume our normal lives as creatives. I will be referencing my Instagram page via my phone. Now's a good time than ever to acknowledge the fact that I am gonna come out of isolation looking like the Tiger King, Joe Exotic. I kind of already do, let's be honest. So I don't know if anyone else has done this, but I made the really foolish decision way back when to post 3 cohesive images in a line so my Instagram grid was aesthetically pleasing, and that's my OCD, I guess. Until I have 3 images per line that match, I feel like my whole page is off. And currently it's off, which is a really bad time to be doing this because I believe that this video trailer will be the next post on my Instagram page to make it all even. Bugger. Oh well, whatever. It's only gonna annoy me. All the way back. 2013 was doing gorgeous little test shoots with all the new models in Melbourne. It was amazing, and it's so incredible because Laura is a bloody bombshell now, and I remember she had braces in this shoot and Daniel the photographer retouched them out. I was collaborating at this time with Daniel Radke, who's a photographer, and Diana, who was the makeup artist, and she did hair as well. Us, the 3Ds, we used to collaborate around twice a week. All 3 of us trying to build a really strong portfolio. It was just a happy marriage. Polyamorous, I guess. This is one of my all-time favorite shoots. I still have this blazer I bought from an op shop, and I just wanted this like classic, strong, sassy 90s vibe. Platform pumps, the suspenders, Ashley the model freaking nailed it. Our whole vibe was to be provocative, but also to be extremely fashion. I guess I got a little bit out of hand with the leather and the bondage, although it was encouraged. The only thing that I couldn't include, which I had on set with me, were a few pieces of jewelry that had a crucifix on it. The photographer just asked if I could not include any form of religion in there, and I respected that. Baby Paris, we're going for a bit of like a 70s vibe. A lot of vintage clothing. I cut jeans into shorts that I got from an op shop as well. I literally was making use of anything I could get my hands on, because at that time I didn't have a very established relationship with brands and designers in Melbourne yet. I remember we shot at the Shrine of Remembrance in Melbourne. I think we got 3 or 4 shots in before we got kicked out. 3 or 4 looks in, sorry. So we had to finish the shoot at the exhibition building just outside, which is where this shot was captured. Do you think you have a location in mind? You might want to just double check you're allowed to shoot there first. If not, have a backup. Here we have a little Laura Henshaw. We did this at Geelong Beach. The whole vibe was colour. Incredible team. Did I tag them in the thing? No, it's all here. Look how I used to do my bloody tags. Like, it doesn't make sense at all. This is one of my favourite outfits. I just love the colour combination. It's just so much fun. It was supposed to have an athleisure vibe as well, a bit of swimwear. Kind of out of my comfort zone, something I don't really focus on, but I still love these images. And colour blocking was in at that stage as well. Is this still 2014? You look at your approach to it back then and you're like, oh, maybe not. This shoot is very special to me as it's when I first met my darling Miss Sophie Vandenacker and Tanya Guccione. We all collaborated on this shoot together and all met each other for the first time, and who would have thought that 7 years later we'd be putting a killer look together, which you'll see as I scroll up. This then led me to working with Sophie as my very first client to style her for events. And I remember just loving what Tanya did with Sophie's hair as well, because she very rarely wore her hair natural. Tanya just made it look extremely fashion and still editorial, but very soft and natural, and I loved that. More test shoots, cute. Another outfit that I actually think still slays today. Bit of a color block, I guess, but we've got a bit of a pattern and some metallics. It's got a very Gorman-y vibe. I don't even remember. Oh, well, there you go, Gorman. Love that shot, and that was with Daniel and Diana again. Next shoot was with the incredible Bonnie Hansen, who is now based in Sydney. Very cool model, very different. I got the photos back and they were basically all like this. They're all like beauty. And I said to Bonnie, I was like, where are the shots of the outfits? And she was like, oh, but it was a beauty shoot. And I was like, oh my God, all the images I'm gonna get back from this shoot are gonna be cropped. But then she was kind enough to go back and find some that she had from a further distance and give me a few wider shots, which was very sweet, bless her. Another incredible shoot. Love this. Daniel and Diana again, the 3Ds, killing it. Going for a bit of an 80s vibe. And again, I still think these images are fab to this day. These pumps, she wasn't used to wearing heels and she was literally bleeding. I felt so bad, but bless her, she was a sweetheart. A few men shoots there. Hello, gentlemen. Plenty of test shoots around this time. So here we go. There's Sophie. The first time I styled her for an event, it was only like a few days notice. I had a good relationship with Chic at the time. I wanted to go gold, slightly baroque-y, so her earrings, you can't really tell. They were in at the time. Okay, calm down. The clutch was her own. We've elevated since then, thank God. Another shoot I did with Sophie, this time with Gianna again on makeup. We had an incredible hairstylist. Only half of that hair is hers, and she loved having long hair. Bernard, the photographer, I start working with quite a lot during this time. I remember getting these images back and I was just floored. I mean, I knew they'd be amazing. They were so good. And they're still in my folio on my website. I used some more independent designers in this to give it more of an editorial feel. Some really cool pieces in here. And this was for submission. I was helping submit the images as well, so Bernard didn't have to do it all on his own. He hadn't heard back and I did like a second round of submission. So that's basically when you submit your work to be published, whether it be online or in a publication. He contacted me, he was like, oh my God, we've got a print submission. Not long after, he comes back with, oh my God, it's been pulled because apparently it's published somewhere already. One of the places that I submitted it to published it online, but didn't tell any of us and sabotaged us for a print publication, which was awful. I felt really bad. Oh, here's my first music video and my only. That's one of the things I really want to do is style for the music industry. This one was for little Rachel Costanzo. We had to leave the room while she was shooting this scene. I mean, she was only young, she was a bit nervous. So it was just her and the director filming and we were waiting outside waiting for them to wrap. When I got the footage back, literally the footage being the final music video, which was now on YouTube, the garment tag that hangs on their coat hanger, you know, those little stupid irrelevant white things that normally you rip off anyway, it was hanging out of the top, like underneath her armpit. I felt sick. I was just like, oh my God, this is awful. So no matter what job you're on, especially if it's live motion, always stay in the room with your subject because you have to maintain it the entire time. Lesson learnt, will never happen again. I think this may have been one of my first campaigns, my first national campaign, which was with Joe Mercer. Great team. It was really hard for me though to style for a commercial client because I was used to doing editorial. As you can see, these shots are really pulled back. She's not really wearing much, which is the whole point because you're selling the shoe. More shoots with Soph. This is another time I styled her and she's wearing Tony Matichevsky. I remember I was so excited to put her in Tony because I loved him, as I still do. This was such an odd choice for her, as in she probably would never choose it. It was so different and I was all about elevating her style, and this very much did so. And I've chopped off her feet because she wore her own shoes, which I did not approve of. This was then leading up to Spring Racing Carnival. Here she is in Tony Matichevsky again for Caulfield Cup. Incredible, I love it. Mimco headpiece, Tony dress, Tony Bianco shoes. It's pretty simple, but it's effective. And I think it's very timeless and elegant. Oh my God, I remember this. Ugh. She was not supposed to wear this dress for Derby Day. When I pulled this dress, it was lilac in the image and it arrived in gunmetal. It was originally for Oaks Day. What she was supposed to be wearing on Derby Day was seen on Instagram that morning being worn by somebody else that was going to the same marquee, styled differently, not as good. Sophie called me in a panic and she's like,
I can't wear this dress, someone else is wearing it. What am I gonna wear now?
I wasn't at home and I had everything at work in the city and she ran in, grabbed this dress, which didn't really work with the shoes and it was a bit of a nightmare. She felt fab, as she said, she's wearing Alex Perry. Always check with PR that you have exclusivity to the dress that your client is wearing. I was told I was, but then they apologized saying that there was a miscommunication within head office. This was just a behind the scenes shot. That's little Steph Claire Smith in her Matichevsky skirt. More shots of Steph. Loved this dress. I should just point out, I think it's really interesting. This was the first time I believe that I first met Steph. I had some really incredible designers on set. I said to her, is it okay when you're posting these final images if you just tag the brands? And she said very, very kindly, that's fine, but they'd have to pay me. I think at this stage she had hit 1 million followers on Instagram. That's the first time I'd ever heard of payment being exchanged for an Instagram post. And this was back in 2015. It's her choice, it's her page. And I was kind of like taken aback a little bit. I'm like, no, fair enough. And then I just went back and had to advise the brands. I'm like, sorry, but if she does, she does. If she doesn't, then sorry, but I will. And I did, sitting in thoroughly. Another one of my favorite shoots to date was with the beautiful Elise Knowles. Most of you would know her by now. So I think this is around the time she was leaving Chadwick's, her mother agent, to move to a Sydney agent, and she wanted to look more fashion. And 4 years later, she became a Maya ambassador and replaced Jennifer Hawkins. Some of these outfits I still love. Nice and simple, the color palette's great. This is a cute little sassy image. Even today, 343 likes is a lot. I remember that shot getting heaps, and I was like, she's wearing wearing a knit and a pair of strappy heels. Like, this is not pushing my styling boundaries. Beautiful shot, I totally get it. This is something that I loved, this Tony Manicheski skirt. $254, not too shabby, but not as good as the jumper. I don't know why I started doing flat lays, whatever, that didn't last very long, boring. Goodness me, first time I went to Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week Australia. This was me at Tony Manicheski, and I waited to get a pic with Jess Malboy because I stan Jess Malboy and she's so bloody adorable. She still wears Tony to this day. And I got to meet her stylist Mikey as well, who's super lovely. I remember I was so nervous and running late, of course. I could not get a cab to save my life and I was stressing out, and I had Lindy Klim's number, who's a very good friend of Tony, and I texted her and she's like, it's okay, it hasn't started yet. If I'm here when you get here, great, you can come in with me. And I was just like relieved. But no, I was running late, so she had to go in. And then I went in and they couldn't find my seat, so they just put me anywhere. But I was sitting behind Lana Wilkinson, another incredible stylist in Melbourne. I tapped her on the shoulder, introduced myself, and she instantly made me feel so much calmer. I will never forget that. She was so kind. The couple of days I was there was a good experience, but really interesting because I almost didn't go because I had no money. So you obviously fly yourself up. I was able to stay at Diana's house, the makeup artist that I mentioned. I was doing test shoots back a year ago. She was living in Sydney because she got signed with an agent there and she was working the shows. I couldn't really afford to buy anything. I had to make outfits from my own wardrobe. I couldn't even afford an Uber to go from one show to the next. I walked from Carriage Works to wherever this show was. It took me about an hour and a half to walk there, and I was wearing loafers. Blisters galore. It was bloody painful. And I was all like, one day, you know, I'll look back on that and I'll laugh because I'll be going to like Fashion Week with like bougie outfits and fancy cars and all that shit. Still waiting for that day. But listen, stay humble. I can still laugh about it regardless. A bit of e-com, bit of suiting, looking dapper. Incredible campaign, again with photographer Bernard for Bell & Barnett. We did about 4 of their campaigns, I think, over 2 years. Such a good photographer, I love his work. Okay, so this shoot, there's Diana here. So the makeup artist I'm referring to is there, Diana. There's Sophie again, and there's me looking a little bit evil. This was the first day that I ever picked up the camera to shoot. So 1st of May 2015. These girls, especially Sophie, encouraged me to do so. We're just doing a street style shoot. There's my rack, twinning on set being my local neighborhood of Newport. Just walking around the streets, really. I had a skate park around the corner, thank God, because it gave me just really clean background to use and plenty of natural light. This is a Tony Manicheski look. I just did a few little random outfits on Sophie and photographed them for my social media. I mean, the shots are just so basic. I mean, the black and white ones are okay. Black and white saves everything. There's no color grade, nothing. Questionable flat lays. Oh, questionable. Got spray tan in there. Nude for winter. My OCD though, good alignment. Oh, here's the first time I styled Mary. Sort of. She's not wearing much. That body though still is redonk. Now this outfit Sophie wore, this is a Tony Manicheski look that I loved. She was so against wearing it. She didn't really feel like pushing the boundaries at that time. She just wanted to be her and look like her, which is fine. But if you're gonna work with me, I'm gonna push you out of that box. And the next day, the only image in the paper from the event was her. And it was huge. But this was such a nice validation for our relationship for her to then trust me. I still use this as an example. I'm like, you have to trust me. Remember that outfit. This shoot, you probably recognize it, but you can't really see her face. So this is the iconic supermodel now, Ducky. She had just come off Australia's Next Top Model and we're doing a test shoot with her, and I was doing it with Peter Saulis and Sue Marshall on hair and makeup. There's her face. Such a sweet girl, very demure. And it's so weird but incredible to see how successful she is now. Like when you see her doing like the Fenty Beauty campaigns or walking international runways, and it's funny when I look back at my Instagram and there she is. Look at me trying to style athleisure wear. Bless. I'm always trying to like, look, forcing color into the image. But this is when I also met Monica. So the model here also got me to style her for an event. You think like e-com's e-com. If you don't know what e-com is, basically styling the images that you see in catalogs, lookbooks, and online when you're online shopping. They're telling you what to put on, but you have to make sure it looks perfect. So there's no wrinkles, everything is even and straight and fitting accordingly. There she is. So there's Monica, bit of a step up from the hoodie and leggings that she was wearing on set in this beautiful Misha dress. Tony Bianco heels, loved this look. Oh my god, this was a nightmare though. I was styling Monica for the races. She was supposed to wear this to Caulfield, I think, and I loved this look. I thought it was so elegant and timeless and chic. Looking at this now, I would happily put this on a client today. And she didn't wear it because her boyfriend at the time said she looked like a mum, was like, it's a joke, right? And she refused to wear it. So she went out the morning of and bought something else. And in my opinion, it wasn't any better. Here's another incredible editorial shoot that we got published. Incredible team, Carmen Rose, photographer. Loved the lighting, loved the coloring. Such a beautiful shoot. Again, still on my folio to this day. Oh my goodness. This is the first time I styled Sarah. 2016. Okay, right. She had a good following, What are these outfits though? This is a really good example of me falling victim to Instagram culture of the time, when fashion on Instagram wasn't necessarily my aesthetic, but it was dictating, I guess, your success. And I wanted to see if I could engage with that audience, get followers, etc. There was lots of reposting of these images from memory. Letitia did the makeup on this. If you don't know who Letitia is, she's one of those beautiful girls. And the background on this, if you can't tell, are curtains. Curtains hanging from the gutter in my backyard. But who cares? What is this? Oh, come on, mate. Bit thirsty. See, again, following the whole Instagram bullshit. What a loser. More shoots in my backyard, doll. Look, there you are. Sheets this time. Went out and got some queen size sheets. Hang them from the gutter. Gotta have options. Loved this outfit on Soph. These boots, she couldn't drive in them, so we got to the event. I had to lace her up like in the gutter on the street, all the way up her very long legs. She could not walk past someone without their eyes diverting. It was incredible. And I went with her, so I was there to see that and absorb all that incredible validation, I guess. No one had worn those boots yet. Fresh Tony Biancos. They hadn't hit the shops, and they had just sent a pair to Kendall Jenner, Gigi, all those girls. But Sophie was the first person to wear them. I styled and photographed both Steph Claire Smith and Laura Henshaw together. I put way too much pressure on myself. I think it was a great day, and the girls were gorgeous. I didn't know what I'm doing. Listen, they're not that bad. First time I styled and shot Leah, and we did it at Brighton Beach Huts. I remember this guy, Peeps, see, 521. And I was like, why? I mean, she's gorgeous, I get it. But I was just like, okay, this is the background color. You start to think too much about why people are liking it and not if you like it. Does that make sense? Cool outfit, but nothing special. It's very pedestrian. Ugh. Hands down, one of my favorite shoots of all time. Teaming up with Bernard again. Incredible 70s shoot. Got published. Love these images. This is why I miss working with photographers. The whole beauty of this is that everything came together so well. Blondie on makeup, Hermes on hair. Just incredible team. So this shoot with Sarah upgraded from the curtains to a piece of lino. This is when the whole marble thing was on trend. And I bought this marble effect plastic lino flooring from Bunnings and hung that up. Sarah said that when this shoot came out, people were asking her what studio this was. She was just like, Daniel's home studio. You can see it here, look at the plastic. What is happening? More curtains. Oh, look, see, the lino's on the floor now where it should be. But look how beige my Instagram page got. Started doing little videos back then. First time I met Ree, my darling friend Ree, as you know. By this stage, I was getting models wanting me to shoot them because they were seeing that I was creating content. This is a cool outfit. It's one of those cheap, disgusting plastic dresses. So I had to change location, and I found a rooftop around the corner from my work, and I just started photographing my girls now the rooftop of this car park because the lighting was great and the background was neutral. We weren't supposed to stand here, but we did anyway. These images just started blowing up. There's Sarah again. Daniel P's new home base, this bloody car park rooftop. So I'm just checking the lights because it's just interesting to see how much my engagement's dropped since I stopped doing this. Here we are together. So we then ended up shooting the campaign for this bag brand, Farrah and Sloan. I've started all of their campaigns since the first one. Such an iconic bag. Look at the length of that fringing. That's some high quality shit. She's so involved in what she wears and how she projects herself, and I love that because she actually has really good style and an individual approach to fashion. Although we worked together on these outfits for the races, she basically did everything moving forward on her own. But she explained it to me and I totally respected that. Jessie Murphy, now she is. This was a look that was custom made for her. I remember during the process, I wanted that sleeve to be at the elbow and not full length. I thought it might be a little bit matronly. And I wasn't sure about the bow either, but no, the bow's, yeah, I don't know. Beautiful designers, and that's the thing when you work with the designer, it's like you completely have to respect their aesthetic, especially if you're not paying for the dress or the client's not paying for the dress. More rooftop, look, trying to make it look different and fancy with an upside down stool and a box. Now this shoot, one of the most iconic shots I've ever done. Checking on the likes. So this is Sarah again, in case you can't tell. She told me the other day that she still gets such a positive vibe from it. This is one of the shoots I was most proud of shooting and styling. So this is around the time you can see that I was heavily shooting constantly. One of my most loved campaigns to date. It was for Emporium Melbourne, which is a shopping centre. The whole concept behind it was to celebrate new emerging talent. I also loved that the brief was to encourage an editorial aesthetic. I loved these outfits. One of my first time speaking to camera for a client. I remember I just didn't want to do it. I was tired and it was humid. When they released their campaign, all of a sudden, along with the images, they had on top of Emporium is this big LED screen. So our behind the scenes video was playing in the middle of the city. Leanne Hurwitz is a photographer. She's incredible. Tickets, if I do say so myself. Fierce look. More shoots, more campaigns, all the fashion film. My future husband and a videographer who then became my videographer for my YouTube channel, they decided to do a fashion film, got me on board. I got Sarah to be the actress in it. It's on YouTube, you can find it. It's called The New World. It was a 2-day shoot on various locations. Loved the experience. It was incredible. But the poor thing, we had her in this inflatable pool filled with like milk powder mixed with water, but it was so cold. It was like in the middle of winter. Although the water was warm, we couldn't keep it warm, so we're constantly boiling kettles of water, pouring them around her to increase the temperature around her body. This is why she's a legend. She's such a trooper. You just have to go watch it. It was amazing. This racing season, what year was this? Okay, this was 2017. I literally was getting DMs left, right and center from girls being like, last minute,
I just got invited. Have you got anything?
And that year I had gotten my hands on as many samples as possible, and I'd set up my studio as like a dressing suite where girls could come in whatever fit, whatever they liked, whatever I could put together, they would then wear to the races. I look back now and I'm like, this is one of my favorite racing looks. Loved this too. Mariana's such a gorgeous girl. I remember she was a little bit funny about this because it was a bit different. Fair enough. Gorgeous, look at that, beautiful. This is another shoot I did with Reed, and I didn't have any time to source a location, so we did it around my new apartment block, which I no longer had a backyard anymore, but the images are still usable, I guess. The outfits are cool. Love this shoot with Mary. I shot this in my friend's lobby of her apartment building in the city, and I just wanted to push this whole Gucci vibe, a little bit of a Balenciaga vibe. These are actual like ankle boots that I put with a red opaque tight, so it looked like a sock boot. It was 40 degrees that day, and I had her in 4 layered winter looks. This is when I styled Sophie Monk for Vamp. I had 2 days notice and I had to style her for 2 events. I kind of knew her aesthetic, but I didn't really know like what size, her proportions. She's actually quite petite. This look specifically was very much her, so she loved it. She's such a beautiful girl too. I had this awesome oversized denim jacket with some applique in the same colors that are featured in the dress. So it would have looked a little bit more edgy and a bit more fashion, but it was such a hot night that she couldn't wear the jacket, and that was fine, but I was a bit bummed that I didn't get to see the whole look. Oh, this is when I styled Sophie when she was pregnant. I loved this dress. It just fit her so beautifully. It's such a simple look. It was just a ladies' lunch. I just think she looks absolutely stunning and she felt it. Again, another perfect dress, just cradling the bump. I love the color. I'd never styled a pregnant woman before. And yes, I get it. She's still like a size 6 to 8. It just adds way more substance to what I do. It was beautiful. Me and Ray slaying some media walls looking like Mean Girls. This outfit is one of my favorite outfits ever. These shoes killed her. But this dress, which was actually strapless, and then I put a red knit from another brand over the top of it, and then we got there and they had this red neon feature and got some incredible photos of her. This is the walk back to the car where we were like, let's just get some more shots wherever we can, just middle of the street. Oh, this is a shoot we did. We'd just done a shoot with Ree, and photographer Alex Pott, he had agreed kindly to take some photos of me that I would then edit. She jumped in and we had this photo together. She calls it our Vegas wedding photo. Another shoot with Sarah. I love this shoot. My camera was not cooperating though that morning. I couldn't get the right settings. Bernice was doing the hair and makeup. Well, she was doing the makeup, sorry, for this shoot. And her partner is Alex, the previously mentioned photographer that did my promo images. Nicest guy. Came over to the house we were shooting at, and reset my camera. Why can't more people be like Alex? He's such a darling. And he was like, just buy me chocolate. And the next time I saw him, I had 2 blocks of his favorite chocolate. And he was like, I was kidding. I'm like, I wasn't. I will never forget that. So appreciative. Now it's funny. I went overseas. I went to the US with my man. I was still posting work. I felt like my whole Instagram page was just not working. By the time I got back, it was dead and it has never been the same as an engagement. It's been shocking. So here we are releasing a campaign for Farrah and Sloan. Whilst one campaign is getting released, we're shooting the next campaign for the upcoming season. I was also shooting a jewelry campaign with Ree and Tanya. I used Ultralease Cooper pieces and the results speak for themselves. It was a match made in heaven, like Tanya's makeup, Ree's face, and that jewelry. So this is one of the most iconic shots I've ever posted from the Farrah and Sloan campaign. This shot went viral. So this is Alex Pot, photographer, Bernice on hair and makeup, model is Rain, who's gorgeous. I've worked with her a few times. Quite a lot of likes from my page, but it was reposted everywhere and it was a source of inspiration from there on for other people as well. Only person I've ever staffed for Brownlow, I had a week's notice, Tanya Buckley. But listen, we pulled it together. It's not what either of us expected she'd end up wearing. Can you clock the Farrah and Sloan bag? Hello, represent. The only bad thing is there was no media photos because she intentionally skipped the media wall because she hates it. She's been doing it for like 20 years. Fair enough. Olympic swimmer Bronte Campbell was such a dream because she just was like, I love fashion, but I just want you to do your thing. She just fell in love with my first option, which was this age maxi dress. Totally complemented her athletic figure. Look at it from the back. Gorgeous. So this is the start of 2019. Kicked it off with Mary. She was in town. She lives in New York now, so she was in Melbourne again. It was essentially the first video I filmed for YouTube. It went on Instagram first. I tested how a behind the scenes video would work. 65 comments, wow. And of course we got some killer images. I mean, her legs are ridiculous. It really encouraged me to think outside of my own box and get back into more of an editorial sense of styling and less Instagrammy. Here we have my Northland campaign. I was creative director. It was marching into beauty, highlighting what I think are key makeup looks, but then I worked with 2 makeup artists, Tanya and Ash Morales. My girl Ree's there and Rain as well. It was so amazing to see not only the images but the behind the scenes video all around the center. It was a proud moment for my mum. She had a little cry, but it was so beautiful to be able to share it with people that I respect, admire, and truly care for in the industry. Here is when I started doing my fashion edits. The gorgeous Nicole Mitroff, who 24 hours prior to my shoot agreed to do it as my original model was booked. She could no longer be on set. Thank you again, amazing team. Zoe did all the hair and makeup for this. Again, on my YouTube channel, make sure you check it out. This is like when I first started doing Spills the Tea, so June 2019, and then I chickened out for a little bit. But I'm back now. Tanya and I doing our first roast review for the Logie Awards. I was so nervous to do this. I said to her, I was like, would you mind doing this first one with me? Because we had talked about it jokingly, and we've now done, I think, 6. And who would have thought that us doing red carpet roast and reviews would be part of the reason as to why we have such a strong friendship now. Overseas again, that's all captured on my vlogs, check them out. The only bit of work I did there was a street style shoot for a Melbourne brand, Torrance, that was showing in New York Fashion Week, and we smashed this out in 2 hours. I remember walking away from that shoot and getting back on the subway just being like, I just did a shoot in New York. It was just such an incredible feeling. I did video content for her as well. Yeah, here it is. I wanted to edit the video whilst I was overseas and get it out straight away. And you have such a different perspective when you're overseas as well, looking back in at your local industry, because whilst you're disconnected from all of the bullshit that goes on and all of that same sort of regurgitated crap you see on Instagram, meanwhile, here's what I'm doing. I love that experience more than anything. Got back, went to the races. But this photo, I remember in the marquee, I heard American accent. I don't like going to events, mainly because of like who's there. I was listening out for a foreign accent and I heard this suave little gentleman. I'm like, come on, Soph, let's go sit with them. Gabrielle Kane from New York was here with IMG, as was Shanina and Georgia Fowler. I was like, let's get a photo. They all lined up, bang, 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 bang. Their PR manager took the photo. And as we left, I remember saying to Sophie, we just got like the most iconic photo from the day. It got a lot of engagement. I just think it's actually quite funny. Sometimes if you see a moment, you just have to seize it. And this is a very good example of that. Another fashion edit, more styling Sophie, hair falling out. And this basically leads up to the end of last year where I styled Sophie for the launch of Vamp. Tanya did her hair and makeup. She wore Tony Matichevsky. This is probably my favorite look I have ever put anyone in ever. Tanya smashed out this makeup, beautiful. The hairstylist, this incredible, I don't have a photo right at the back, beautifully slicked with this amazing accordion sort of black clip thing. And then Tony was there to see his face when he saw Sophie in his work was so rewarding. It was a bit of a moment for me. And look, basically now everything's just like my little YouTube trailers because I've been putting so much time into these videos. The last shoot I did was the end of last year with Ray and Tanya. Wow, so that was 7 years of my Instagram profile. Now I just went back and just had a quick little look to see if I missed anything. I found a photo that to this day is still my most liked photo on Instagram. It's not that it still gets engagement because it's from a few years back, but I remember at the time it got like over 600 likes. The most unexpected thing about it was that it was a very average image that I took. The outfit's rather basic. It was reposted by Cookeye where the skirt was from, and that drove all this traffic to my image. I'll pop it up here. How is that the image on my entire Instagram feed that has the most likes on it? That is a very good example of how easy it is to get persuaded by the response you get from social media and how it dictates the way you move forward. Because I then found I had to pull back on my creativity and disrupt my aesthetic in order to please the viewers on Instagram. For a short time, I thought that was important, and I can very much tell you now that it's not. But that then concludes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, like the video. If you did, comment below. Let me know if there's anything you want me to elaborate on. If you don't follow me on Instagram already, please give me a follow. If you were in this video and you want to give me a shout out, feel free. But I also want to encourage people to take this time to reflect, to relax, to unwind. Our industry can have you moving at such a fast pace and we get so used to it, but we don't realize how it's affecting us mentally and emotionally, if not physically as well. So this is a great time, now that we have no choice but to stop, just to enjoy the time with whoever it may be in your household. Everyone else is a FaceTime away. Although I wanted to keep today's video content very light, I will be back with some fresh tea very, very soon, and it will be scalding hot. But until then, stay well, stay safe, stay sane, and I will see you very soon. Thanks, bye.